I want you to think about the last time something small went wrong and it turned into a full blown crisis. You needed a new tire. Your kid needed to go to urgent care. Your fridge just stopped working right out of the blue. And in that moment, you weren't thinking about the tire or the fridge. You were thinking about the money because you didn't have it. And that gap between the problem and the money is where so many of us have a problem. That gap is where debt starts. That gap is where the credit card comes out, or the payday loan, or the message to a family member that makes you feel so small to send. And I'm not here to tell you that it's your fault, because it's not. Most of us were never taught how to build a buffer between us and disaster. We were just taught to keep going and figure it out when it happens. But today I want to talk through the first real number that changes that gap. And that number is $500. Not 5,000, not 3 months of expenses, $500. Because here's the truth. When you're drowning in bills, you don't need a perfect financial system to stop the bleeding. You need a small wall between you and the next emergency. And $500 is that wall. Studies on financial stress have shown again and again that having even a few $100s set aside is the single biggest factor in whether an unexpected expense turns into a crisis or just an inconvenience. And that's because most emergencies, the real ones, the ones that actually show up in real life, cost somewhere between $200 and $600. A tow, a vet visit, a broken phone screen when your phone is how you get paid, a security deposit you didn't expect to need again. $500 covers almost all of it. And covering almost all of it means you stop having to choose between the emergency and your rent. This is why I don't want you thinking about emergency funds the way most finance content talks about them. Like it's this huge mountain you have to climb before it even counts for anything. It counts starting at $1. Every dollar that you put toward this is a brick in the wall that didn't exist before. So let's talk about how you actually get to 500, starting from wherever you are right now, even if that's zero. Even if you're living paycheck to paycheck and the idea of saving anything feels like a joke someone's playing on you. The first thing we're going to do is open a separate account for this money, and only this money. It doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to have a high interest rate or anything like that. It just needs to be not attached to your debit card. Because if it's sitting next to your spending money, it will become spending money. The first time you're short on grocery day, separate it out of sight, out of mind. Keep it boring. The second thing is what I call the $30 sweep. Look at your bank statement for the last 2 months and find one thing, just one, that you didn't even enjoy. Not the coffee that makes your morning, not the one subscription that actually gets used, but the thing that renewed and you thought, well, wait a minute, do I even use this anymore? Cancel it and move whatever it was costing straight into that account. That's often $20 to $50 a month found without changing your life at all. The third thing is what I call selling the evidence. And I mean this literally. Go through your closet, your garage, that drawer that everybody has, and find 10 things you haven't touched in a year and sell them this week, not someday, this week, because momentum is what makes this fund feel real instead of theoretical. Most people can find $100 or $200 in stuff that they forgot they owned. The fourth thing is picking up one extra hour of income if you possibly can. And I know that that's not available to everyone in the same way. But if it is, even one extra shift, one weekend of a side hustle, 1 hour of something that you're already skilled at, put all of it, every dollar, straight into that account and don't let it touch your regular spending at all. And the fifth thing, and this is the one most people skip, is automating whatever you can, even if it's $5 a week, because willpower runs out, but automation doesn't. It's just quietly happening in the background, whether you're having a good week or a hard one. If you stack even 3 of these 5 things together, most people get to $500 in 30 to 60 days. Not because they became a different person overnight with different discipline, but because they built a system that didn't rely on willpower alone. And I want to be really clear about something. This fund is not for a sale at the store. It's not for a vacation. It's not even for Christmas. It's only for the moment your car won't start, or your kid is sick, or your job schedules you for fewer hours than you needed. It exists so that that moment doesn't turn into a spiral. Once you hit that 500, I want you to actually feel it. Notice what's different. Notice that the next time something goes wrong, you don't panic the same way because you built a little wall between you and the crisis. And that feeling, that little bit of steadiness, is the entire foundation everything else in your financial life gets built on top of. So if you're watching this and you're starting from zero, or you're starting from debt, or you feel like this is just one more thing you're behind on, I need you to hear me. You're not behind. You're just starting today. And today is the only day that has ever mattered for this. Pick one of the 5 things I just gave you and do it before you go to bed tonight. Not tomorrow, tonight. Because the wall gets built one brick at a time, and the first brick is the one that matters the most. If this helped you see your first $500 differently, hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Because in a future video, I'm going to show you what to do once you hit that number and how to turn it into real long-term security without ever feeling like you're depriving yourself along the way. Until next time, this is Joanne from Marry Money.